Have you ever tried to open a file in Lightroom only for it to insist on importing it instead? What if you don't want to do that? And once you have opened a file, did you know that in Lightroom and Photoshop there are 3 different places that you can use the RAW interface, depending on your preference? So which should you use? Having so many different rules to open your files and then 3 different locations to edit them is a perfect example of why people are confused by the 2 programs. Removing that confusion is what today's video is all about. There's a free PDF for you to download at the end of this video to act as a permanent reminder too. And on a more chilling note, did you know that if your Lightroom catalogue becomes corrupted, and it does occasionally happen, you would lose every single edit you've ever made in Lightroom from the time you first installed it? But don't panic. Simply stay tuned to find out how altering a single setting can stop that from ever happening. That's what I'm here for, to reassure you. While Lightroom Classic and Photoshop handle RAW files in exactly the same way, see this video where I explained that in detail, they have different rules for accessing them, which can lead to confusion. There are also 3 different locations where you can use the RAW interface, giving you the option for different workflows. Remember, it's all about finding a workflow that suits you best. Let's look at them one at a time and discover why the 3 points of access to the RAW editor is actually smart and not stupid. Having imported your image into Lightroom, you do your edits here and then either stop or move into Photoshop for further editing. It's best to use the Open a Smart Object in Photoshop option to do this, as all your edits from Lightroom are then carried over into Photoshop and can be changed from there. Here you can see that by double-clicking on the Smart Object icon, the image opens in Adobe Camera RAW, where the changes made previously in Lightroom are kept intact. Also, when you save in Photoshop, that Photoshop file is added to your Lightroom catalogue, ensuring that whatever program you make changes in, it's all kept up to date in Lightroom's database. If you want to look at or edit a RAW file without adding it to your own Lightroom catalogue, Adobe Camera RAW is what you use. You can open the file from within Photoshop, or you can simply double-click on it directly from the desktop itself. Sometimes, when you've been editing an image in Photoshop, you'll want to use some of the tools in Adobe Camera RAW or apply one of the presets you have there. Rather than save the file and then go outside Photoshop to open it in a RAW editor to do this, the RAW interface is available in the filter options of Photoshop, allowing ultimate flexibility when editing. There are other ways to use these editors too, depending on your preferred workflow, but we'll talk about those in another video. At the start, I said that if your Lightroom catalogue file becomes corrupted, you can lose every single edit you've ever made in Lightroom from the time that you first installed it. That's true because of the way Lightroom and RAW files work. Lightroom's catalogue is essentially a giant database. Lightroom and Photoshop, like all modern photo editors, don't actually alter images directly as you edit them. This is called non-destructive editing, as the original file remains completely untouched. If you look in the history palette as you work, you will see that Lightroom keeps a note of all the changes you make. The image itself is left untouched. Whenever you load the image again, the starting image is loaded along with the database of changes previously made to it, and it's all shown in the history palette. It's why you can go back and undo things. All these changes to every image you edit in Lightroom are kept in one catalogue. If that file becomes corrupted and unusable, all your edits go with it, because that's where they're kept. Let's compare this to how Photoshop keeps its editing information. Because Photoshop is not a database program, it uses Bridge for that, the changes are kept in a separate file alongside the photo. These files are XMP text files, only a few kilobytes in size. They're tiny. It's very simple too. One photo, one XMP file. The good news is that by ticking a single box in Lightroom's catalogue settings pane, you can save your edits in this way as well as in the catalogue. Think of it as a safety backup. The editing info will be kept in your catalogue and in these XMP files too. To enable this, go to Catalogue Settings, open the Metadata tab and tick Automatically Write Changes into XMP. The even better news is that taking this action will automatically create XMP files for all the pre-existing images in your catalogue too, not just the new ones. It will simply chug away in the background, creating them once you've clicked Apply. It may take a while, but Lightroom will do it whenever it is open.
Oh!
Another benefit is that any other program you use to edit RAW files will look for an XMP file, so your edits can be carried across to it, but other programs cannot read a Lightroom catalogue. If you got this far, please click the thumbs up icon below. It will help me out, and subscribe if you want to see further videos. You can also ring the bell to be notified when new videos are available. As I said earlier, there's a free PDF sheet showing you the 3 places you can access the RAW interface for you to download at my website. The link is below. Visit my website for blogs, info and to see my photos, because once again, if you're going to take photographic advice from anybody, make sure they take good photos. See you soon.